should think twice. Would you wanna be like you? How you gonna reply? Would you wanna be like you?
Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to do another anti-haul. I looked back and I realized the last time I did one of these was about a month ago. So it's kind of a little long overdue if I say so myself. I'm not gonna go back and, pick up exactly where I left off. There are some things, and I'm not gonna talk about every little thing that's come out, but these are just some of the ones that I've heard a lot of buzz around or things that might interest me. I'm gonna talk about some things that I do have some interest in possibly getting, and some things that definitely just do not interest me at all. Okay, so the first thing I have here is a mascara from Huda Beauty. It is their Legit Lashes Double-Ended Mascara. It's going to be $27, and it is two sides, two brushes, two formulas. One is a little bit bigger and the other one is a smaller one. Two different formulas. Quite interesting. I'm not the biggest fan of Huda Beauty. I do think her makeup, from what I've tried, I do like, but it's not necessarily something that I'm running out to buy per se. And mascara, I'm the type of person, I use drugstore mascara. I feel like drugstore mascara definitely gets the job done, and it's inexpensive. I don't feel like, and I wear false lashes all the time anytime I wear my makeup, so I think that it's not necessarily something that I am eyeing. Use my Revlon mascara all the time, so it's I'm gonna pass on this one. And the next thing is a brand I've never heard about. It's from Queen, I think that's how you say it, Beauty Shop. It is their Brazilian Carnival palette. There are 99 shades, including shimmers, glitters, and mattes, and it's for $50. It is a huge palette. I will insert a picture somewhere on the screen, as I always try to do. This is something that if I had gotten rid of all of my makeup, I had absolutely nothing, and this was good quality, I would definitely say this is something to look into. Or if you're a beginner, as long as the formula is good, this is actually not too bad of a price. It is a quite large palette though, so it is definitely something that I would imagine would be a pain in the butt to store, and something that is definitely not going to be travel friendly. So that's something to consider. I wouldn't personally buy it, but it is quite interesting. I would like to see a few people using this palette. I want to see if it is good quality, but for that reason, I already have enough eyeshadows. There's no reason for me to purchase this. Next thing I have is from Lady Gaga's brand House Laboratories, and it is an eyeshadow palette. It is the Stupid Love palette. $48, about 18 shades for $48. There are a mix of some warm tones and then cool tones. This is something I feel like I wanted to see from Lady Gaga's brand when she first came out. A lot of people, I've been watching a few people's thoughts and opinions on this palette, and I feel like a lot of people have this to say about her brand, and I completely agree. I feel like they're still so early in the beginning stages that they don't really have an identity yet. They don't know where they're going with it. A few of their products in the past were a little bit more subdued, not necessarily very Lady Gaga, how we typically see her. And this palette that I see is definitely something that when I see it, I'm like, okay, I can see Lady Gaga actually using this and endorsing this, but it's not something I would personally pick up. There are a lot more cooler tones with blue eyeshadows in this palette. I don't typically wear blue eyeshadow a crazy amount of time, and the times that I do wear blue eyeshadow, I already have enough blue eyeshadows that I can do a blue eyeshadow look. I do not need this palette. I do feel like this is starting to go a step in the right direction for her brand, but it's something I'm going to pass up. I'm filming this today is Tuesday, and this is actually launching today. It is from Manny MUA Lunar Beauty, a blush palette, and then 3 lip glosses. The blush palette is quite interesting to me. I am a big fan of blush, so it's something that I am definitely considering. It's launching today, and probably honestly in a few hours from the time time that I am recording this video. I don't know that I'm going to pick it up. Because I am such a blush fiend, I have a lot of blushes. So I don't know that these are like necessarily something I have to have. I would be interested in trying his blush formula. I do have a palette from him, his Moonspell palette, and I personally really like it. I know eyeshadow palette blushes, they're different, but they're still powder products. So, it, you know, kind of gives me an idea possibly how things could be. I do like his eyeshadow palette, so it's something to consider with his blush palette. It is going to be $35 for 6 shades. And then he also has some lip glosses, and it is $17 each. And then for a bundle of 3, you get it's for $40. Personally, these are all very basic, simple, run-of-the-mill nude lip glosses. And I don't necessarily think that I need another nude lip gloss in my collection. So I'm going to pass on it. I have heard good things about his lip gloss formula. So honestly, if I were to purchase anything from his lip glosses, I would do a little bit more of a pigmented gloss. I'm not gonna get the lip glosses at all, but I am considering getting the blush palette. Okay, so the time has come to address this. Jeffree Star is launching an eyeshadow palette along with some lip glosses and some metal straws. This is not his typical full, complete, crazy collection that he does with eyeshadow palettes, lipsticks, lip glosses. Oh, and then also too, he is launching some makeup bags in this collection, the cremated collection. Typically, he does eyeshadow palettes, highlighters, lipsticks, mirrors. He does literally like a whole shebang. But this time, I think because with everything going on, it's a little bit smaller of a collection. But the things that I want to talk about more so are the makeup products. And let's address this cremated palette from Jeffree Star. I am not sure. This is going to be launching on Friday at 10 a.m. PST, which is about like 1 here. And I don't know. Honestly, I do love Jeffree Star's eyeshadow palettes. I have like 4 of them, I want to say. I'm wearing one of them on my eyes right now. I will list it down below, Jawbreaker Palette. This, at first, when I saw the reveal for this palette, I was like, no, that's it. I have no need for this. But the more I thought about it, the more I took, especially doing the eyeshadow palette tag the other day, the more I thought about it, I thought, I really don't have anything like this in my collection. I usually tend to stick with neutral, like warm neutrals or colorful eyeshadow. And this is neither. This is all like grays and blacks and some white colors. There are some shimmers, some taupey colors. It's definitely a cool tone palette. I don't really have anything like this in my collection, especially all in one palette. I do have some blacks, of course, some grays and whatnot, but it's not all in one place to necessarily, I'd have to drag out a bunch of palettes in order to create this kind of palette or something similar to it. And I don't have anything like this. So for that reason, that made me consider purchasing this. It is $58, so that is quite a lot of money for eyeshadows that I don't really wear a lot. There are 24 shades. There are some mattes, extreme sparkle metallics, which is a new formula for him. But I have, which honestly, I didn't know that was a new formula because in his Thirsty palette, he has some like shimmer metallic glittery shades in there that I really, really love. So I thought it was something like that so then it said it was new formula. So it didn't really make sense to me, but that's beside the point. I'm not sure. I do bridal clients and this would be a perfect palette for doing makeup for wedding. So I don't know. Honestly, I'm 50-50 with it. I don't like Jeffree Star as a person, but I do love his makeup. I will say, I mean, I've said it before, I'll say it again. I really love his makeup. So but it's hard to separate the man from the makeup brand for me, because just because I like his makeup brand, if I buy his makeup brand, I'm still supporting Jeffree. I'm still giving Jeffree my money, which I don't want to do. So, and I know a lot of people have been like throwing out some dupes for this palette, and the closest one, or the one that the formula that I'm most familiar with, is ColourPop. I don't have any of their 9-pan palettes, but I am very familiar with ColourPop's eyeshadow formula, especially their pressed shadows, and I really love them. Some of these shades in the cremated palette look very repetitive. They probably, if I were to see it and swatch it in person, they probably aren't exactly the same, but they're close enough to the point where I don't think you necessarily need all of these in here. But it's literally a 50 Shades of Grey palette. I mean, let's be honest. There's so many grays and like dark grays, lighter grays, black in there, a white, and then everything in between, and the gradient of all of that. So I don't know. I don't want to support him, but to be honest, I do. The more I look at it, the more this palette actually does make sense in my collection. So I'm not sure. When Friday comes along, when launch time happens, we'll see. A lot of people aren't liking the name of this palette and the collection, especially with how times are right now. And I don't really want to speak on that. Luckily, I haven't lost anyone in this pandemic. I've lost people in my life, of course, but not during this time. Thank God, knock wood, hopefully pray it never happens. But there are quite a lot of people who have lost someone during this time. And I'm not going to downplay that this definitely is not good timing for this palette. I think it was a bad call on the timing of this, but it's here, it's coming. There's nothing we can do about it now. I don't know. I want to know your guys' opinions on this because it's quite interesting. Like, I don't want to buy it because it's him, but I want to buy it because I love the makeup. So I don't know. When Friday comes, launch time comes, I'm just going to play it by ear. Whatever happens, happens. She did it again. Pat McGrath. Just when I thought I was completely done buying any of her palettes, this little baby comes along. If you've seen my last video with the eyeshadow palette tag, you know I do have one Pat McGrath palette. I do love it. I do have to use it more. For as much as I paid for it, I have not used it quite as much as I should be using it. But she is back at it again with another eyeshadow palette. It is the Divine Roses palette, Mothership Volume 8, Divine Roses 2. So she did have, I think it was a few months ago, she did have the Divine Rose palette. So this is just the second volume of it. I will say I did like the volume 1, but I love the volume 2. The volume 1 I could skip over and be like, okay, I can rest easy. I don't need to have it. This one, I need to have it. It's so pretty. I mean, it is definitely a very me palette. I love how there is a gorgeous duochrome shift eyeshadow in there. It is stunning. I've seen swatches of it. I've seen a video of it where you can really see all the duochrome effect and like shift within it. It is literally so stunning. It is her normal eyeshadow price, which is $125, which is quite a lot. You only get 12 shadows in here, and it's going to be available June 15th online. I actually, this morning, I signed up on her website to get a notification when this launches. Not saying I'm going to buy it, but I want to know when it drops, because if I'm in the right place at the right time, it might happen. I am not entirely too sure. It is definitely one out of all of the things I'm probably going to be talking about today that I am eyeing the most, which is insane because it's definitely the one that's the most expensive on this list. I don't know. It's so gorgeous. I love her formula. I love her shimmers. I swatched the one palette that I have in my last video. I swatched a few colors and it's so stunning. So if it's anything like her normal eyeshadow formula, which I would imagine it would be, it's nice. It's definitely nice. I know she has a whole collection with that as well, with lip liner, lipstick, and a lip gloss. I do like her lip gloss. I feel like it is really pretty. I do have a few of them. Some minis and then one full-size one. I really love. It looks very glassy. It's very like high shine, not sticky, gorgeous formula. but I have enough lip products that I'm good, honestly. Okay, so Juvia's Place is coming out with another eyeshadow palette, and this is actually kind of a while for them. They haven't had a launch in quite a while. I feel like they were riding the success of their last few launches and kind of just chilling for a while, but now they are coming out with the Wahala palette for $36. There are 20 eyeshadows, so it is a larger eyeshadow palette for them. Usually they do things that are a little smaller. They don't have quite as many eyeshadows, but usually the pans are a little bit bigger. These ones look like they look like an average eyeshadow pan size. So the colors look pretty, but they're not anything that I feel like I need to have in my collection. There's some purples, some orange, some red, and some blue. It's actually, if you look at the palette, I'll insert a picture. If you go straight down, there's like a color story that you can follow. So I do feel like I like that layout. It's almost like the Tati Beauty layout, where if you follow it straight down, you can do one look, you follow it straight down, you can do another look, and you know, keep going like that. And then of course you can mix and match and do whatever you want. But I do like the layout of this. I will say it is aesthetically pleasing. It definitely does something. It kind of sparks your imagination. Or if you are in a stump where you're like, I don't know what to do, if you just kind of follow that one row, you can create a look. So I do like when companies do that. I feel like there are some companies who, like Anastasia Beverly Hills Norvina, their like Norvina line, they have like the eyeshadows all over the place. Norvina says that there's a reason for why they do that, but when you look at it at first glance, it just doesn't, your mind goes all over the place. So creating a look can be a little bit difficult when your mind is like, well, there's a pink over here, but there's a pink over here, and there's a pink right here, and then why are they not all together? I don't personally like that. Even though I feel like my creativity sometimes will be flowing, sometimes it just is like, it's just not aesthetically pleasing. I don't like when companies do that, but this is aesthetically pleasing. There are some glitters, it looks like, some shimmers, and then mattes. But that's not something I necessarily feel like I need in my collection. I do recommend Juvia's Place eyeshadows. They are pretty good price. They are a good formula. So if you like this color story, I think it's something to consider for sure. And there are so many affiliates that have discount codes that you can get this for a little bit cheaper than the $36. But this is not necessarily new at this point, but between the time of last time and this time from my last anti-haul, I haven't talked about this palette, so I just want to address it. This is the Norvina Volume 4, speaking of Norvina. I love this. I definitely feel like out of all of the Norvina palettes that they have come out with, this is a color story that definitely speaks to me the most. Pink is my favorite color, and I love pinks and purples together. I'm wearing, you know, pink and purple today on my eyes with a little bit of blue in there too. So this is definitely one that at first, when I saw it, I was like, I have to have it, like no questions asked, like almost with the Melt 420 collection. I saw it and I was like, I need to have it. Definitely, come launch, I'm buying it. But this has launched and it is still available, and I have not bought it. I'm debating. I am seeing a lot of people creating amazing, stunning, beautiful looks that are pretty varied, considering this is mainly a pink and purple palette. There's enough colors and color variation between the shades that you can create quite a few different looks. So I'm not sure. I might pick it up. It is $60. It is available now. I did buy the cake liners. There are two trios, and I bought the one that had, orange, white, and purple. I did buy that. I did buy that on launch, which was May 11th. I have not gotten a tracking indication or tracking number yet, so they haven't sent it out yet. Don't know when they're going to be sending it. I'm hoping soon, because there are quite a few looks in mind that I want to create that involve white eyeliner. Back to the palette, I'm not entirely too sure. I think it's looking favorable for me purchasing it. I don't know, I haven't done it yet. A lot of people like it. Looks like good eyeshadow quality. There are some like shimmers. I think there's a pressed glitter in there, maybe one or two. I think I might, but at the same time too, if you look at the Pat McGrath one and you look at the Norvina Volume 4, it's pink. It's basically a pink eyeshadow palette. Both color stories are very pink based. So do I necessarily need both of them? No. One is $60 and one is $125. You get more bang for your buck with the Norvina palette. But I do love the Pat McGrath eyeshadow formula. I've never tried the Norvina line. I've only tried Anastasia, which a lot of people say the Anastasia line is different formula from the Norvina line. So I've never tried it. People seem to like it. I don't know, but it's going to be one or the other. It's not going to be both. I can't get both the Pat McGrath and the Norvina. It's just not going to happen. So I kind of need to narrow it down, figure out what I'm gonna do, and whatever I do, you'll probably end up seeing on this channel at some point. Okay, so the last thing I want to talk about today is from Kimchi Chic Beauty. She is a drag queen from RuPaul's Drag Race. Even though a lot of people know her, she is pretty much still an indie brand. Only started, I don't even know if it's been a full year yet. She is launching some concealers and color correctors. I'm not necessarily in the market for new concealers, so I don't know that this is something I need to pick up. There are 20 shades of concealers, 7 color correctors, and 18 grams of product. I don't see a price anywhere, but it is available on the 28th of May. So hopefully as we get a little bit closer, we'll have a little bit more information about that. It looks like it is, I don't know if you're familiar with the LA Girl Cosmetics concealers, almost kind of like that packaging where it's like a squeezy tube, which is not my favorite packaging. I feel like LA Girl did it wrong with that. I don't know if there is a brush tip applicator. On these, I'm not entirely too sure if it is a brush tip applicator like the LA Girl ones. So I feel like that could also make a difference. Usually with this kind of packaging, there is kind of like that little brush tip applicator to apply them. I know the LA Girl ones were so messy for that reason. I had some and I loved the consistency of those ones, but they were so messy, it kind of made me not want to use them. And eventually I did stop using them. I don't know if these are entirely full coverage. From the swatches I've seen, they look like they're pretty full coverage. And usually in drag makeup, you do want pretty full coverage. So I would imagine, since that is her brand, they probably are pretty full coverage. I don't know that I would necessarily use them. I'm not really in the market for a new concealer. So, and I don't know the price of them, so I can't really say if I would buy them or not. So that's it for today's video for this anti-haul. I want to know your guys' opinions. If there's anything I missed that is sparking your interest, let me know down below in the comments. And I'll definitely check it out if I haven't seen it already. And thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.
Maybe you should think twice. Would you wanna be like you?